policy analyst roles are highly in demand. The money is very good. See, if there is anything that you need to know, is that the nursing pathway is one of the most lucrative pathways. AI cannot do that, okay? AI is not going to take off a kid, period. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Yemisi. On this channel, I create immigration videos, vlogs, all this good stuff. If you like what you see, consider subscribing. Thank you so much for the love shown in the last video. That's the video about the new immigration policies IRCC has rolled out that will be affecting students, permanent residents, temporary residents, and all of that. So if you've not seen that video, consider watching the video, but maybe you should finish this one first and then you go over to watch that video. You can click on the video right here, or you check in the description box, or just go to the previous video before this one. Today's video, I'm going to be sharing some of the top most in-demand jobs in Canada. If I get $1 for every time people reach out to me to say, I'm trying to apply for this particular program, I want to know how lucrative the program is, or I'm going to this particular province and I'm not sure what kind of job would be in demand there, or what do you think about this particular job in Canada? What do you think about some of the highly lucrative jobs in Canada? I'll probably be a millionaire by now, in dollars, by the way. So in this video, I have collated these occupations for you so that if it's something that you want to go into, or if it's something that you are already into and believe that you can do over here, then that is very good for you. Maybe I should also talk about some of the skills that you just know how to do. You don't have to necessarily go to school for. Without further ado, let us quickly go into this particular video. Before we go into some of these topmost occupational jobs, because these ones will require a degree, I'm going to quickly talk about some of these skills that people don't really utilize. I think I've not really talked about it on my channel before. I've seen people talk about it, by the way. Those hand skills that you don't have to learn, like barbing, hairdressing, crochet, knitting, making nails, being a nail technician, eyelash technician. Yeah, those particular jobs, if it is something that you're interested in, or maybe not even interested in, but you want to make a side hustle, living income from that, then it's something that you should take note of. By the way, I am shy to say this, but when I was almost moving to Canada, I bought this dummy that has full hair, and I started learning how to make hair, like to weave all back. But till now, I haven't been able to even with my own hair. So don't be like me. Please learn how to make all of this hair. A lot of people make income off this particular job. There's a lady that made my hair earlier this year, and she learned it by herself. She used to study in the UK, and then she moved down to Canada as a permanent resident. So she's been doing it as a side hustle, even as a student back in the UK, and even now as a part-time job while having her 9 to 5 on the side. So that is something that you should actually take note of. But this particular video is actually not about that. It's for those jobs that you would probably have diploma certificate for, or high school certificate, or college degree, postgrad degree for. I'm just going to be listing them based off of how I have written them here. The first one that comes to mind is nurse aides, patient service associates. So those people that are in charge of ensuring that patients are well taken care of, patients are assisted in their everyday activities. So it could be those people that are in charge of patients in care homes. Most of these kind of jobs require you to just have your CPR and your first aid training, a certificate that you have to show for it. Every province has places where you can do that for sure. Some would also require you to have maybe some pre-health sciences diploma certificates, but it is a very high in demand job. There are a lot of baby boomers in Canada, if you don't already know that by now. So there's always vacancies for this particular type of jobs. Can be helping your patients to dress, to eat, probably take their blood pressure, or check their temperature. So these kind of jobs, paramedics and nurses are not in this category. I'm going to go into their own category very soon, but they're basically special care facility attendants. You could work in a hospital, a clinic, or in long-term care home or short-term care home, depending. So these particular jobs are really high in demand. I find that students often get this type of jobs. When I was still a student, I had a couple of friends that got jobs in care homes, and all they had to do was to get a CPR training, food and safety training, so that you know the kind of food to give your patients, know all of the basics basically. These particular jobs can be helpful if you want to go down the nursing care route in the long run, I'll advise that you do this type of job. I have a friend currently that started off, he came in as a permanent resident, started off with working in different care homes, and right now he is in nursing school. So all those experiences that he gathered, his degree back in Nigeria, all of that helped him to get a good proposal into the nursing school, and he didn't have to start from the beginning. I think he started from either 200 level or 300 level. I'll try to confirm and put it on the screen for you. That is something that you should look at. The next one will be registered nurses and registered psychiatric nurses. Again, I promised you guys that once my friend is around, we're going to talk more about the nursing program. I'm even thinking whether I should launch a Q&A and have people ask questions so that we don't just dabble into the world of nursing, but answer your questions, if that makes sense. Before she comes around, registered nurses, you guys already know that you require different certifications for this one. Not just certifications, you also need a graduate degree and also do the NCLEX exams, all those exams that would help you to be certified to work in this field. See, if there is anything that you need to know, is that the nursing pathway is one of the most lucrative pathway. But even though it's one of the most lucrative pathway, if it's not your call, it's not your call. Okay, I am speaking to people that have interest in this. I know people currently that are trying to be a nurse in Canada, and I see them writing exams. I see them working long shifts, 12 hours on a go, and I'm like, I don't think that can be me. So if you know that you're not ready for it, please don't. Please don't. I've heard stories about people that have different degrees. In their first undergraduate degree, they had it in maybe something social sciences related, and now they want to study nursing. A lot of them fall by the wayside, and this is not to shade anyone. This is just to let you know that it's not one of those fields where you think, oh, because it's lucrative, because it's high in demand, you want to do it. It's something that you have to be passionate about, period. Nurses are in demand everywhere in Canada. It's not limited to any province, and their income is also very good. Transport truck drivers. When I first came to Canada, I would see different videos about, oh, this particular province is looking for truck drivers for this particular amount, and I'm like, huh? But one thing you should know for sure is that you have to get a certain driver's license badge for you to be able to drive a truck. I mean, that's common knowledge. Also, you probably have to take like 1 or 2 certificates depending on the province and depending on the kind of truck, the kind of things you'll be moving. I'm trying to remember the name right now. Anyway, are you moving between countries? Are you moving just within the province? Are you moving inter-province? I think there's a particular certificate that you have to get, but away from that, it is one of the highly lucrative jobs in Canada. It involves both long haul and short haul transport truck drivers. The transport truck drivers may operate vehicles 4,500 kilograms and over between urban centers or along interprovincial or even international routes, just as I've mentioned. Drivers sometimes drive alone. I mean, we see some of them on the road when we are traveling from one province to the other. It's for people that really loves to drive, and not just love to drive, but that can move those kind of vehicles. To become a truck driver, you usually would need to have a high school certificate, which is pretty basic. You might need to complete an accredited driving training course depending on the type of vehicle that you will drive, just as I've mentioned. So that is one of those lucrative jobs in Canada, and I know that you must have heard about it before. I'm here to let you know that what you have heard is true. The next one is IT specialist. You guys know that we are in the world of AI, artificial intelligence, and everything is basically technology. Even where you work, they're trying to improve the technology day by day. If you are in the field of cybersecurity, technology specialist, product engineer, product designer, it's a very lucrative job to go into. Different companies will always need product managers to help them with product management, basically project management as well. Project management is fast becoming one of the most popular certificates in North America. Yeah, that is something that I would advise anyone to go into if that is your field. Tech field is very, very wide, so you have to pick the path that interests you. Do you want to be a business analyst? Is it product management? Is it software engineering? Is it, what are those other ones? Yeah, a lot of that. Is it coding? Yeah, just go find your area of interest and see some of these jobs that interest you, because again, you don't want to feel stuck. Go on Google, check different platforms, certificates that you need to check. Again, what I tell people is if you're going to a particular province, try to survey what kind of jobs are in demand by going to different job sites and seeing some of the jobs that people typically do, or just even Google and say, what are some of the in-demand jobs in Alberta? You would see. For this one, of course, you know that you need a certificate, usually a college degree certificate. You might have to take extra certificate, like I said, PMP for those that want to be project managers, or if it is coding, if you're in the coding path, you know your word very well, you know what to do, you know the certificate that you should get, and all of this helps you. One good thing about these IT jobs is that you can work remote jobs, you can work in person. The next one would be retail sales supervisors, or even like retail sales generally. In Canada, I tend to see a lot of food chain stores, retail stores, so it could be Home Depot, The Bricks, Walmart, Superstore. If you did like biz admin or related courses, you might be interested in the retail world. That's also a place where people always typically go to, especially for second jobs. In Canada, in case you don't know, people don't only have one job. I'm not saying everybody. A lot of people tend to have two jobs, so they'll have their usual 9 to 5, and then they'll have like an extra job which is part-time on the side. Some people work in retail stores part-time, so after they work they'll go there, or weekends they're there. Those are jobs that always need people, and I feel like the turnover rates in those kind of jobs are usually high. I don't know why, but jobs are always there. These kind of jobs need like a high school certificate depending on the role that you're getting. It's a supervisor role, maybe you need bachelor's degree. I'm not even counting. I hope that people are counting it, because I intend to give you guys 10 or maybe add one more. Occupations in communication, marketing, public relations. Every sector, public, private, whatever organization, they need communication specialists. Period. Most times people would require you to have an undergraduate degree, but also understand how to use different communication tools. It could be different communication templates, different product applications like Canva, like Notion, Pinterest, because as a communication specialist, depending on the sector that you work in, you'll be drafting key messages, you'll be designing infographics, designing communication templates, memos for the company, and they will expect you to be very skilled in that. Most times you might just take a Coursera certificate for it, or Udemy. There's so many online platforms. I remember back then when I was really interested in the communication world, I would sign up for different communication webinars because I find that world very interesting, although it can be a lot. I used to work with communications people, work on different change management communication tools, and send it to communications department to vet whatever we're writing, to see if the statements are public worthy and all of that. Yeah, I know that they do a lot of thorough jobs there, so it's a high in demand job is what I'm trying to say basically. The next one is admin officer. Do not look down on this role. Back in Nigeria, there were a lot of admin roles that we were taking up as part of our jobs. It's so interesting because some people would say they don't have administrative experience, but you do have admin experience, because when you go over, and I think maybe that's what a lot of you should do when you are trying to check around different job sites. Try to also look at some of the responsibilities, and somehow it might not be the name that you have thought in your head. Maybe you can say project manager and just write yourself off and say, I might not be able to do this. Maybe project manager is too technical, but let's just use that for an example. Before you know it, by the time you check the responsibilities, like the JD's job description, and then you check the requirements, you would begin to see that this is what you can do. And maybe this is especially for those people that are not yet in the country, and you can begin to upskill yourself in this particular area. AI will not get the printers and then move them around, at least not for now. I believe that admin jobs will still be a priority. I see some of the managers, some of the directors trying to look for administrative officers that will work personally with them. So these admin officers can sort of be like their PAs, such that the person assists them with the department. So those are the kind of admin officers I'm talking about, aside from maybe admin officers in the private world where they do like secretarial duties. But just know at the back of your mind that these are jobs that you might want to venture into first. And like I said, a lot of us actually do have administrative skills, and you should explore them. Those are people that have good attention to detail, comfortable with computers and record keeping, as well as information management, time management, to make sure that everything in the office is in the right shape and right form. There's actually office admin diploma programs, and I even think back in Nigeria, in most polytechnics or colleges, you'd see office administration as a program, maybe like a 2 years program or maybe 1 year, I'm not sure. In early childhood educators, there's been a huge migration of immigrants in Canada, and people are giving birth, of course. So we have increase in the need for childcare or early childhood educators. This is actually a program in the University of Regina, because I know a friend that studied this, and she works with children from infancy to the age of 12, and these early childhood educators help children to learn, grow and develop. It was when I was having a conversation with an early childhood educator that I knew that there are things that you must teach your children between a particular age and that most parents might not even know. That's when I knew about hyperactivity disorder some children exhibit. They also help with colors, help with problem solving. So this particular job is for people that love kids. Of course, coming into Canada, you might have to evaluate your degree to see if you can study there, or maybe some of the additional certificates that you need to study. And again, that would be known if you go online and see some of the requirements that this particular job entails. The next one that I wanted to talk about will be policy analysts. I actually just thought about that now, because thinking about it, a lot of people know that I studied public administration here in Canada. When you study public administration, a lot of people just think government, right? Which is not a wrong thinking. Majority of these jobs that people go for, like policy analyst role or roles that will help with deciding on policies, whereby you can climb the ladder and get to that top where you want to be an elected official. I find that policy analyst roles are highly in demand, period. So when I was in Saskatchewan, now I'm in Alberta, we have colleagues that moved from Saskatchewan all the way to British Columbia, Ontario. We have friends in almost all the government parastatals in all the provinces right now. People move to Manitoba, Winnipeg. So thinking about it right now is also a very high in demand job. Of course, you need a certificate in public administration or related social sciences. You must love research. I'm emphasizing on it, doing jurisdictional scan, environmental scan, understanding your pestle analysis, SWOT analysis. A lot of that, quite familiar with that particular one. So that's also a job that is highly in demand. Typically from Nigeria, people already have political science. Oh, what am I saying from Nigeria? I'm talking to audience. Typically from your home country, you already have like a political science background, or you even study public administration. You might just come here to brush it up, upscaling, data analysis programs. Data analysis is also one of the skills that you need to learn in that field. Yeah, that's something I thought on the spot, and I thought that it was important that I put it out there. The next one is elementary school and kindergarten teachers. This one is also a job that would forever be in demand. People keep giving birth, right? Teachers will help your kids whilst you are away in the office. AI cannot do that, okay? AI is not going to take care of a kid, period. People that love working with children is also a requirement. People that are very, very patient with kids, not everyone is. Different provinces require different certificates for this particular job. So again, check website for the province you're heading to. Next one will be material handlers. I thought about this a little bit, but I'm going to explain why this is important. Some of the heavy lifting in warehouses, in home improvement stores like Home Depot or The Brick, a lot of these stores require a lot of heavy lifting or carriage. Material handlers that actually help with this. So even though some of these machines that they have to use to handle these materials, maybe to bring down some materials or bring down some really, really heavy weight items, even though they use machines, it's people that operate these machines to just try and check what kind of requirements, because I know there's a certificate that you will mostly have. For example, I know that in some of these stores, the stores will make you take some trainings in-house. Some will probably require trainings from outside. Most of these kind of jobs will just require high school certificates, and if you have the physical strength, because I see women doing these jobs actually, and I know that a lot of you would resonate with this, because when you go into these stores, you see women also do. So it's not limited to men, it just depends on if you are able to handle those kind of heavyweight equipment. The next and maybe the last one that I'm going to talk about is bus drivers. There's transit drivers, transit operators, ticket handlers, all of those in one. In the morning, a lot of people use the bus to commute to work. The school bus for children also use bus drivers. Interprovincial, there's also bus drivers. So you can see that it's a job that a lot of people do, just like the transport truck drivers that I mentioned earlier. It's similar to that, just that I think that the truck driver's license is probably maybe one step higher than the bus driver's license, or maybe it's the same. I can't remember right now. Or maybe it also depends on the province. If you love driving, I think I missed out on mechanics, painters, plumbers. Those are the jobs, man. Those blue collar jobs. And I think I've talked about it before, because I remember when I was still in Saskatoon, our basement was a bit flooded, and our landlord called in a plumber on a Sunday, and he mentioned that he was being charged $500 in less than how many hours? Maybe 2-3 hours. I'm like, what? Those are really, really high in demand jobs. Those are jobs that, again, depending on the province, you might probably have to do some certifications. Yeah, here you have it. I didn't even think that this video will be this long, but I hope that you are able to take 1 or 2 things from this video. As usual, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and let me know questions that you have in the comment section, or if you think I missed out on any other in-demand job, please drop it in the comment section. Help the community. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.